I'm cutting the end off here. Show you the end mount made out of 1-inch plate steel that I salvaged and cut down, squared up, used the bandsaw there, rough ground it, and then right here I welded a piece of 1.25" ID tube, 3/8 wall, cut to about 5/16, welded one on each side to make two bosses, welded them up, and then I honed out the center with a drum sander to accommodate the pin, which I'll show you. I heat treated the pin, but this matches up and mates perfectly with the end of the cylinder here. That'll be the mount. And then down here I made these. Basically what these are going to be is they're going to be slides that mount underneath a piece of 1/2-inch plate steel. Would go on like this. As you can see, they got a little space on top. Give me a gap there. They'll through bolt to a plate that right on top here, and then I'll weld the wedge on there and use that as a carrier to hold the wedge and the end of the cylinder up. When it goes down to that end there, that I'm going to weld the 1-inch solid piece of steel on for the foot plate. The wedge is over here. And this, try to put up a video of how I made this. This right here was a piece of 1-inch plate that I cut to the rough shape, then cut the face on it, and then I put it in our CNC machine, welded it, and that plate right there with little skegs at this angle here, and machined it down flush. And it sounds like the saw is done. So this is going to ride on carrier plate, and the cylinder is going to be welded here, and then this will be welded to the carrier plate, and then these will bolt on to hold this to ride like that. I might put grease zerks in there, and then again it mounts up here, and then the whole assembly will be welded to an axle, which I'm going to make out of 5x7 3/16 thick tubing. I'm going to weld plates on the end of it, and then weld 1/2-inch plates right there and there. And if I decide to put an axle on it later on, I can weld the spindles to the plates for reinforcement. That'll be my hydraulic tank and reservoir and the axle, and then I'll have to make a tongue, and then I can weld on if I decide to tow it. But like I said, this right here is the piston, and did a pretty good job. I'll have to come back in and grind this face clean. Did a pretty good job cutting that thin of metal there. I gotta be careful not to cut myself, but it actually can cut through and leave that thin a piece of metal. So I'll come back and grind that flush, and I'll have a nice welded surface there. And that's the beginning of it.